What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ace here, back with another reaction video, and today we have how to survive your first night homeless with Spencer Brooks. um I never been homeless before, been close to it, but never truly homeless, right? I know a few people who have been homeless, and it sucks. It's just one of those things where it's like, what do you do when it does happen, right? Because you never know when it can happen. You can have all the money and the success in the world, and then the next day bankrupt, cooked. Um, but yeah, some of you guys who have been homeless, let me know how what your experience was, right? Even if it's bad, and all that stuff. I would still like, people like to still hear stuff about that who never been through that type of thing. And it's one of those things where you have to keep in mind that you have to be prepared for it, right? And I think a lot of people don't prepare for that type of thing. They just get a job, or they get a little money and this and that, and then they're just thinking like, okay, yeah, this would never happen to me. And it's like, you just don't know. We got hackers, AI, all types of stuff going on nowadays that can take your money, take your life away, your narrative of how you want to live your life, and boom, there you go, you're just cooked. So yeah, without further ado, man, let's get into this video. I'm excited to know how to survive actually homeless, because I never been homeless, so.
See that? That's a cop posted up right there. Guarantee you he's already seen me. You just ended up homeless on the streets. The first 24 hours are crucial.
First thing, this man has a Cupid link on being homeless. What are we doing?
Survivors. We have to find
but I know it's it might be fake or so, but it's just like, it's funny.
A safe place to sleep, all the while staying under the radar and avoiding cops. We have $0. Only thing of value is this backpack and this chain.
The chain, okay.
We gotta find money to go get some food for the night. The magic number is 90 cents. I would always scour parking lots because people drop change. They're coming out of a store, they put it on ledges like that. Boom, look at that. There's some.
Yep, pennies.
Psychologically, it's very important to have some kind of food in your possession. You don't have to eat it now, you don't have to eat it at all. But what you're doing is telling your brain, hey, I've got something if I need it. Helps you calm your nerves, helps you not freak out. Shopping center like this, I could find change in no time. Boom, there's 3 more.
And it's like, sorry for all the pausing, but it's like, for me, I live in Louisiana, like New Orleans, and it's like, there's a lot of people I see daily out on the streets. And in my mind, when I see these people, my mind just go like, dang, what did these people go through to get in this position? And what did they do to get in this position? Those are like the two things. And a lot of times I see these guys just drugged out, or, scrapping for change, or some of them actually have like little side hustles. Like, I think earlier, not too long ago, there's like a Popeye somewhere in this direction in the back of me, where like I seen, people who are down on their luck, working in like the back of the stores of the Popeyes once they close, to help them like take out trash and old chicken and stuff like that, and they get free food for it. So it's like, even if you're homeless, you can make something work. You can make something work, or like per usual, you see people who are struggling. They sell bottles of water, wiping windshields down. So it's like, it's little things you can do to help yourself along the way.
More. Parking lots were the best place to find stuff. You just gotta pay attention.
But ultimately, it just sucks, right?
29 cents. Doesn't seem like much, but psychologically,
oh man, the ramen, you can never go wrong with the ramen. Like, no one can tell me, bro, the ramen doesn't hit different. Even if you ain't on the streets, like, bro, the ramen is always just gonna be fire.
Fall back on. So we got our food, and the next thing we need is a reliable water source, which is very important. It might be the most important thing here. There's a psychologist named Abraham Maslow who created the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Essentially, it's the hierarchy of things humans need to survive and be okay in life. From basic necessities all the way up to morality. And not surprisingly, the first thing on the hierarchy of needs, shelter, food, rest, air, the most basic things you would need as a human to be okay at any given time. First 24 hours of homelessness are crucial because you're setting yourself up for what your further stay is going to be on the streets. streets.
Yep.
If you know you're going to be on the streets for a while and you lay the foundation.
Dude, I think if I was, God forbid, but if I was to go homeless, I think the first thing I would do is grab all the money I can, like everything, clothes, money, all food, all that in one day. And the next day I would just like start setting out to different places that I can like either get a night, either like buckle into like a little home somewhere, maybe, hit up a few doors, be like, hey, this and that, woo the woo, or, settle out camp in some like nearby bridge or something like that, and just use like the gyms to shower and stuff, bro. Like, there's a few ways you can do it for sure.
Foundation of being all stressed out, you don't have
Despite
anything,
the struggle.
you freak out, that's going to set you up for a horrible time. However, if you get a plan together, you get your most basic needs met, surprisingly, psychologically, the rest of your time can be a whole lot easier. We've already got our food for the night. The next thing we need is a water source. Your normal reaction might be go to Whataburger, go to a fast food restaurant and get a cup of water, and that's fine, but here's the problem with that. That's one cup. You drink it, you're out of luck. You gotta go back. And most places won't let you come in and out. We need to find a water source that if we wanted to, we could come in and out 100 times tonight. No one would know, no one would care. We gotta be like a ghost. We gotta get in, get out, and keep our head down. So right now, where would you go to get water? You're in the middle of town. There's restaurants, there's apartment complexes, there's neighborhoods back there. Where do you go? Put that in the comments below. I'll tell you where I'm going, and they're readily available, although
let me know in the comments, guys, where would you go if you was homeless, right? If you had no choice but to be on the streets, not knowing how long you're going to be on the streets, what would be the first place you go for like water and food and clothes? I mean, I could think of like maybe the thrift store, like probably salvage some stuff out of the recycle bin, maybe. Who knows? Like something like that. Maybe like, yeah, definitely like recycle, probably like a recycle bin for clothes for sure, because you're gonna need a lot of clothes for just like rags and stuff like that in general. Man,
most people wouldn't think about it.
Definitely wouldn't dumpster dive though. Just couldn't.
That's right. We're at a park
bathroom. That makes so much sense actually. I ain't gonna lie.
This was my most cherished lifeline because we got a sink, we got a toilet, and we got a little bed if we absolutely had to sleep here. Now it's closed right now. Technically in the park, we could be cited for trespassing. That's why we don't come in here unless it's an absolute last resort. It's perfect right now. We can fill up our water bottle, and psychologically, just to know we got a lifeline via a sink right there means all the difference in the world.
Man, feels like home. Some good little water, yes sir.
I used to come in here some nights and just lay down because I was so overwhelmed and exhausted. Just having these four walls around you, having a door that locked, seriously meant
safety. Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. It's like when you're homeless, bro, you don't even have like you don't even know how safe you are until you out on the streets with nothing. Because like when you're out and you have nothing, no walls around you, that means anybody can just come by and do anything, right? And that's very scary, very alarming when you realize how sheltered your life is away from the dangers outside that awaits you.
So we got our food, we got our water source. Those are two hierarchy needs that we've got met. Now this last part is the hardest and the most crucial for the first 24 hours. We gotta find a place to set up camp for the night. A place that's under the radar, a place that isn't next to nosy neighbors.
Police and stuff, yeah.
We gotta find a place that isn't illegal, because cops will pull you over and arrest you for that, because no one likes to see homeless people sleeping out in public.
Facts.
That automatically means parks are out of the question if we can help it. If there's nowhere else to go, we will settle for a park, but usually out of the question because they're city properties. Cities don't play. See that? That's a cop posted up right there. This is why we don't sleep in parks, because the truth is, these dickheads over here, they'll call the cops. Oh my God, there's the guy wearing a backpack in the park. I think he's homeless. Go take him to jail. That happened to me a few times. Don't you love people like that? That's
crazy. That's crazy. I would never call police on a homeless person ever. I never have. I always help them out or even talk to people like that. Just hearing them out and giving them a little, this and that. Because I understand that what happens to that person can happen to me, and just off the mindset, just being able to understand that, dang, this person is looking worse for wear. Like, how can I just do this to this person? How much harm can I do to this person? It would be wrong. So therefore I prefer to just help that person out in some type of way.
There and see if we're coming out, because I guarantee you he's already seen me. This is where you got to stay cool, calm, and collected, which I had a very hard time my first night. No matter what you're feeling, you cannot show it.
Cannot let your emotional. Yeah, can't get emotional.
Just keep to yourself. You don't want to make friends. You don't want to make enemies. You want to avoid cops, like right here. See, I told you, he's posted up, just watching. There's a very valuable lesson I learned on the streets, and I am actually wearing it right now. A few months in, this dude I knew on the streets taught me this. He taught me, he said, Spence, you always got to keep something on you at all times, if you can help it, that has some value to it.
Okay.
Anything, whether it's $10, a portable phone charger, because on the streets, you got to have some form of currency. You never know when you might need a favor from someone. And if you have something you can just give someone real quick, here, take this chain. Could end up saving your life.
Yep.
Finding a place to sleep for the night, obviously.
Dude, like I noticed that about a lot of like homeless people that did come up to me and ask me for stuff or ask me to do something for them, and I always do it for them. But like, I noticed that they never really give anything in return. Not saying they have to, but I just noticed that though, that is a lesson to take from for sure, to keep in mind. Because like I noticed that with homeless people, they don't really normally give anything. Not saying they have to, because they're just homeless, right? It's like, it sucks, but yeah, that is a nice little lesson.
Anywhere in the neighborhood is off limits. You don't need that. You don't want to be sleeping where people live. That's a bad look. It's going to do nothing but draw attention to yourself. Always have a story. Always have a backstory ready to go. Because the last thing you want is someone to stop you, say, hey, what are you up to? You say, oh, nothing, I'm homeless, looking for a place to sleep tonight. That's going to be a hard pass. No one's going to want to hear that.
Facts.
You're definitely getting the cops called on you. Now, if you're like I was, your mind's going to be going 1,000 miles an hour. You're trying to think about, oh my God, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do tomorrow? You need to slow down. All you have to worry about is tonight. That's the only thing that should be on your mind. Where in this corner, if you had to pick a spot to sleep, would you go?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm taking the bushes, low key. I'm either taking like the bushes back here, or we going?
Is right there.
Nah, I wouldn't choose the buildings. The building, no, that's too open. And then you have to go inside, if you can. Oh no.
It's after hours, coffee shop parking lot, tree. I can tell you right off the bat, any buildings late at night, those are out of the question, because they're private businesses. There's
security,
even if there's not. Easy way to get trespassed. And the truth is, if you're already getting trespassed your first night homeless, you're off to a horrible start, because now people know you and they know you're out here.
Right.
However, this little spot.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about when being homeless, is that you want to keep a low profile, right? You don't want nobody to know, well, pretty much that, you're homeless, but that, you don't want nobody to know how bad and desperate you are, right? You want to come off as very normal with a low profile, so that way when people see, when people see how bad you're struggling, or at least get an idea of what's going on, they'll be like, oh, okay, this guy, he's not bad, he's trying to do what he gotta do and keep a low profile. They'll be more willingly to help you out.
The entrance to the neighborhood, that is a viable spot if we had to choose it. Truth is, this person's not looking right here thinking, oh, there's probably a homeless person in there. They're driving right past it, because I do it all day, every day. No one thinks that. Those bushes in front of the sign, you could sleep back there, which I've done many times. See how much you're protected back here?
That's a lot more better.
There's roads this way. It's not private property. This is a spot I would consider if it was last resort. These bushes would be a good spot to consider. However, There's a Montessori school right there. So obviously we can't do it. But let's say it was raining really bad and we had nowhere else to go, slide in the bushes for a few hours, I would absolutely do that. These industrial buildings are tempting, and I've definitely slept behind there before, but here's the problem with that. These, especially on the weekends, always have security. And they always call the cops. They always have private security, usually. And it's absolutely questionable if you're just caught sleeping right outside of there. It's a dumb move. You should never do it. You gotta always have this mindset in the back of your head as, okay, who is behind this? Right here, corporate companies, that's no good.
Yep.
Right here, city streets, possibly good or bad, depending on the city you're in. Back there, housing development, schools. See where I'm going with this? A lot of times the best spots are right out in the open, places you would never think would be a good place to sleep. Like right here, you got this electric box.
Yeah, because like usually the spots that are more, that have more cover and everything are just, industrial corporation spots, right? Spots that people are trying to keep looking clean and stuff like that for the public, so that way people come to the building is more approachable and stuff like that. And especially at night, they got to make sure things are tightened down. So it's like, why would you sleep there, right? It's better to just sleep out somewhere near like an interstate, stuff like that, or like maybe at like a park at night or something, that's like very dark and stuff. It's just there's other variants of spots that you could pick instead of like the ones that seem, just convenient for you to, hide around.
Blocking you from the street, that's a plus. You got this giant wall, no one's gonna be right there. You got this hill blocking you from cars coming. Very good chance no one would ever see you tonight if you laid down here. And quite honestly, this would be a place I would go if I wasn't familiar with the area. However, I am very familiar with this area. There's a few more good spots up ahead. Now this spot potentially could be a very good place, but here's the thing about it. See, this is a church. If you're someone who didn't want to be homeless, unlike me, I chose to be homeless. I kind of wanted to in the beginning. A church is a great place to go, because here's the thing. If you showed up on the front steps of a church, you're cold, you're tired, you're scared, most churches would take you in and help you get off the street somehow, any way, any shape or form.
That is true.
90% of churches would help you. On top of that, they're not going to trespass you, because let's be honest, churches are here to help people.
Right.
And if you truly needed a lifeline, that would be a good place to go.
The last resort, yeah.
But if you were like me, you had no plans to change, you were just going to let it ride, this next spot was perfect, and I stayed here many times. Boom, right here. It's perfect because there's a highway right here. People are coming and going. No one's slowing down.
It's remote.
This is the entrance to a neighborhood.
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, because it's remote. Like a lot of people are just coming and going. You won't really have like a lot of buildings around to, for people to go in and out of too, as far as like, going to work or just going to buy stuff and all that, right? Like a Walmart or something. It's a perfect spot to just be in.
However, the neighborhood
very
is
deserted.
Way back there. It's about 100 yards.
It's
from
secluded, yeah. You're like straight.
State highway right there. That's all open field. Neighborhood way back there. This is perfect.
Perfect.
That sign blocks you from there. There's trees, it's dark, no one can see you from that way. I came back here many nights. You post up right there.
Look at that.
Open field. There's no houses butting up against here. There's some bushes right there. I used to lay down right in that corner. And the best part, that wall blocks you from there, blocks you from there. It's perfect. This is the best spot for the night. You lay low, you get your energy back up, and when you wake,
like, could you imagine, bro? Like, could you imagine if, like, you had like you run into like some people that used to be homeless, in the same predicament as you in some ways, and then like you guys are just making up a tier list of like, man, like, nah, like I used to sleep on this side, like I used to sleep in this crazy spot, like ooh, like, isn't it like, bro? I know the stories must be insanely interesting, hearing this stuff from these type of people just all together, right? Sharing the stories together.
Wake up the next day, you formulate a plan for the rest of your time on the streets. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs we were talking about? Tonight we got our food, our water, and our shelter. Once you see you're not in immediate, imminent danger, you got a place to sleep, you got your food, you got some water, you're able to breathe, you're able to process your environment, you would be surprised how much your body will follow suit once you start to calm down, because your mind and body are kind of like a dog. You ever notice when you're anxious around your animals, they tend to get anxious? Or no matter what's going on around you, if you're happy and jovial, they get happy. The way anxiety works, we start to freak out in our mind, and because our mind's freaking out, our body follows suit. That's why we have panic attacks. That's why we fall apart. If we can convince our mind that we're okay, we look around, we got our most basic needs met, our body can relax, we can think clearly, we have a better chance of making it in the long run. One of the biggest lessons I learned on the street is we don't really need that much to be okay. We certainly don't need that much to survive. And at the end of the day, if we can stay cool, calm, and collected, a lot of things are recoverable, a lot of things can be figured out.
Facts.
Because once you've learned how to survive with nothing, you realize you don't need that much to be okay in life. You got a place to stay, you got food, you got water, you got a place to lay your head at night. You're doing really good. And ultimately, we have so much to be grateful for. I know I do. If it were you and you had to figure out a place to stay tonight, where would you go? Let me know in the comments. Guys, if you like this video, you want to know more about survival tips, homelessness, psychology, or human behavior, subscribe to my channel. I drop videos weekly and I bring my street knowledge so you can know how to survive. You don't know how good you have it in life until you've lost everything. So live today and tomorrow like it was your last, because we're all just one bad decision or one bad circumstance away from being somewhere we never thought we could be.
Hell yeah. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, again, like I said, bro, yeah, like a lot of people don't realize, that take for granted or don't really realize how good they have it until it's gone, you know. And like I said, hopefully nobody else goes through this type of thing. I mean, realistically, there's a lot of people going through it right now, especially you know, today or tomorrow, they don't even know if they're gonna keep their housing, or some people are already kicked out of their housing, right? Their apartments or house and all that stuff. But it's one of those things where, you know, even before times, like before we actually had like houses and stuff, like people were sleeping out, people were outside in the, you know, in the wilderness, bruh. Like, it's crazy. Like they knew how to survive without cell phones and this and that and stuff. So it's one of those things I definitely keep in the book. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'll see you on the next one.